Before we dive into today's breaking news, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on global events. If you find this video informative, hit that like button to help us reach more people. Now, let's get into the story. In the past 48 hours, the world has witnessed a significant escalation in geopolitical tensions that could reshape global dynamics. The Middle East, a region often at the heart of international focus, is once again under intense scrutiny. On the night of March 18, 2025, Israel launched a surprise attack on the Gaza Strip, effectively ending a ceasefire that had lasted nearly 2 months. This operation, dubbed Operation Might and Sword by the Israel Defense Forces (IDF), resulted in the deaths of over 400 Palestinians, including 263 women and children, making it one of the deadliest in the ongoing Gaza conflict. The attack has drawn widespread condemnation from the international community, with calls for an immediate cessation of hostilities and renewed efforts toward a lasting peace. To fully understand why this escalation is so significant, we need to look at the historical context. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict has been ongoing for over 75 years, with deep historical, religious, and political roots. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War, the Six-Day War in 1967, and the multiple uprisings known as the Intifadas have all shaped the modern-day struggle. But what's happening right now is different. The involvement of global superpowers and the ripple effects in economics, military alliances, and energy supplies make this crisis far more dangerous than previous flare-ups. The stakes are higher than ever as the conflict threatens to spill over into neighboring regions and draw in external actors, including the United States, Iran, and Russia. A timeline of recent events. The current escalation did not occur in a vacuum. It is the culmination of months of rising tensions and failed diplomatic efforts. Here's a brief timeline of key events leading up to the present crisis. October 2023, Hamas launched a large-scale attack on Israel, triggering months of warfare. The attack, which involved rocket barrages and ground incursions, resulted in significant casualties on both sides and marked a turning point in the conflict. December 2024, a fragile ceasefire was negotiated, leading to a temporary halt in hostilities. The ceasefire was brokered by Egypt and Qatar, with support from the United Nations. However, the agreement was tenuous from the start, with both sides accusing each other of violations. March 18, 2025, Israel resumes airstrikes after claiming Hamas violated the ceasefire by firing rockets. The IDF stated that the operation was a preemptive measure to neutralize Hamas's military capabilities, but the scale and intensity of the attack have raised questions about its proportionality. Humanitarian crisis. The sudden resumption of hostilities has had immediate and devastating effects on the civilian population. In Khan Yunis, the largest hospital in southern Gaza, medical staff were overwhelmed with casualties, primarily women and children. The hospital's emergency ward was inundated, with many patients suffering severe injuries or arriving beyond saving due to a lack of essential equipment and medicine. The situation was further exacerbated by ongoing strikes that damaged hospital infrastructure and blocked the entry of critical supplies. Reports from the ground indicate that entire neighborhoods have been reduced to rubble, leaving thousands homeless and without access to basic necessities like food, water, and electricity. International humanitarian organizations, including the United Nations, Red Cross, and Amnesty International, have condemned the violence. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres issued a statement urging all parties to prioritize the protection of civilians. Civilians must be protected. The escalating violence will only lead to more suffering. Similarly, Doctors Without Borders warned of a dire medical emergency, stating, "The hospitals are running out of supplies." This is a medical emergency. Economic impact. The impact of this escalation extends beyond the immediate conflict zone, influencing global economic and political landscapes. Financial markets in the Gulf region have experienced downturns, reflecting investor anxiety over the unfolding situation. Additionally, gold prices have surged, maintaining a solid footing around $3,045 per ounce, as investors seek safe haven assets amidst the turmoil. The conflict has also reignited fears of a broader regional war, which could disrupt global energy supplies and further destabilize the global economy. Middle Eastern conflicts have historically driven up oil prices due to fears of supply disruptions. Since the attacks, crude oil prices have increased by 15% in just 48 hours. This could lead to higher gas prices worldwide, increased costs for transportation and goods, greater inflationary pressure on already struggling economies. The ripple effects of this crisis are being felt far beyond the Middle East. In Europe, governments are bracing for a potential influx of refugees, while in Asia, rising energy costs are threatening to derail economic recovery efforts. The global community is facing a stark reminder of how interconnected the world has become, and how conflicts in one region can have far-reaching consequences. Stock market reactions. The financial markets have reacted swiftly to the escalating tensions. The Dow Jones and Nasdaq dropped by 2.5% overnight, reflecting investor concerns about the potential for a prolonged conflict. The Shanghai and Tokyo stock exchanges saw similar declines, with investors moving toward gold and cryptocurrencies for stability. The volatility in the markets underscores the uncertainty surrounding the situation and the potential for further economic disruption. Global political responses. The international community has been quick to respond to the crisis, with mixed reactions from different regions. The United States has called for an emergency UN Security Council meeting to address the situation, while the European Union is considering new sanctions against entities supplying weapons to the region. Iran and Turkey have issued strong statements warning against further escalation, with both countries expressing solidarity with the Palestinian cause. Simultaneously, in East Asia, diplomatic efforts are underway to address rising tensions. The foreign ministers of Japan, China, and South Korea convened in Tokyo to discuss trilateral cooperation. High on the agenda were concerns about North Korea's missile and nuclear development, Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine, and other regional security issues. The meeting highlighted the growing recognition that regional conflicts are increasingly interconnected, and that a coordinated approach is needed to address the root causes of instability and military escalation risks. With the situation rapidly evolving, let's break down three possible outcomes. 1. Full-scale war. If neither side backs down, we could see an extended conflict, potentially drawing in regional powers like Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey. This scenario would have catastrophic consequences for the region and the world, with the potential for widespread destruction and loss of life. 2. Diplomatic de-escalation. International pressure might force Israel and Hamas back to the negotiating table. This would require significant concessions from both sides, as well as the involvement of neutral mediators to facilitate dialogue. 3. Proxy warfare expansion. Other militant groups in Lebanon, Syria, or Iraq could get involved, escalating the crisis. This would further complicate efforts to achieve a peaceful resolution and could lead to a broader regional conflict. The role of media and misinformation. Unlike previous conflicts, this war is happening in an era of instant global information. Social media platforms, news outlets, and citizen journalism are shaping the narrative in real time. This makes it harder than ever to separate fact from propaganda. Fake videos and images are being circulated to manipulate public opinion, while governments and extremist groups are using social media to spread conflicting narratives. News coverage bias varies depending on the region and political stance of media outlets, further complicating efforts to understand the true nature of the conflict. How this affects you. Even if you're not directly in the Middle East, this crisis impacts gas prices at the pump, stock market investments, international travel, safety. The global economy is deeply interconnected, and conflicts in one region can have far-reaching consequences. It is important to stay informed and understand how these events might affect your daily life. What can you do? Stay informed, follow credible sources, and seek out balanced reporting. Question the narratives, look for multiple perspectives, and be critical of information that seems biased or sensationalized. Engage in discussion, share your thoughts, and engage in constructive dialogue with others. Now, let's hear what you think. Will this conflict escalate into something bigger? What should world leaders do to prevent further violence? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're reading every one. And if you haven't already, hit that like button if you found this report valuable. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you're always up to date on major world events. Check out our next video, where we uncover another shocking truth that could change the way you see the world. Click it now, you don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching.